My name is Juergen KOENIG, and I will present my papers about the critical success factors affecting multinational companies selecting an expatriate for an international assignment and qualitative research. Multinational companies decided to enter in different countries worldwide by establishing subsidiaries. These subsidiaries could be a representative office of the headquarters or a full-fledged subsidiary with all the competencies in all the areas and departments. In most of the cases, companies decided in advance which positions in that subsidiary should be held by an expatriate or for which positions a local employee would be the best solution. In case of an expatriate, the companies do have several alternatives. It could be a local foreigner employee in the market of the host country. It could be a local foreigner employee from the host company, a manager from the headquarters, a manager from the international organization, meaning from the group but from another country than the host country or headquarters, or finally from the international open market, others than the host country. The possible modalities and the implications of the choice are the major issues for this paper. This paper approaches the important topics that international companies should consider by the selection of an expatriate for an international subsidiary. The outcome of the research and survey demonstrated the failures of the multinational companies in the selection of an expatriate for an international assignment. The organizational structure and the defined role of the manager chosen for the international assignment in a subsidiary will have many implications for the corporations. Equally important seems to be the necessary and defined profile of the managers of a subsidiary, mostly for the selection process. In the past, most of the multinational companies decided to have strong and totally independent managers in the countries to build up the business, market, and company image. Later, considered that not all companies were satisfied with the independence of the subsidiary and of the managers, several times the global products were not always available anywhere, and new communication tools have been available, the internet. Several national companies decided to centralize all decision-making into the headquarters to assure uniformity of the implementation. The changes were accompanied with new job descriptions for the expatriate managers. Fact is that for each managerial position, a proper job description and job profile is required. The different modalities to deal with the subsidiary and with the role of the managers can have an impact on the subsidiary. This is the aim of the paper, to find out which important topics companies should consider by the selection of a manager for the subsidiary, independently of the structure, position in the international subsidiary, or defined role. Neglected should be the different cultures and legal setups in different regions, which should be considered when a selection is in place. These factors can affect drastically the communication and will influence the businesses and the performance of the company or engagement of employees. Considering the different possible organizational structures and different roles of the expatriate managers in the subsidiary, it is even more important to select the proper position holder for each setup. The question is if global companies do have a proper selection system and if all necessary parameters for the selection are used. Where should the candidate come from, internal or external, from the country or from somewhere else? Who should interview the candidate? How many options are required? How the interview should be done? How to observe the candidate and relatives? How many opinions are required? Direct superior, human resources, head of major business, etc., etc. And human resources should consolidate all the information and the direct superior should take the final decision. The superior will be measured in the performance appraisal if the right candidate has been chosen and the targets achieved. When and who should approach the candidate? What about the first visit to the country, the see and look? What should be seen during the visit? Housing, schools, recreation, culture, etc. Training program is fundamental from a cultural aspect till business issues, good governance and takeover plan. Normally, companies should have an internal induction program for new managers for international assignments to assure that topics like compliance, environment, health are not neglected. This is what everyone believes. In the research, something different was found out. Who and how the family should be prepared, what is important for the family, who will assist the family, is an induction program necessary and required for the family, how should it be done? Follow-up of the progress, candidate and family is fundamental. Who will be involved? Normally, the direct and new superior should accompany closely during the first months the new manager in the host country by calls or sporadic visits. To finalize, it's important to mention that company's vision, mission, and values will be a strong help to a manager to perform accordingly. The topics compliance, risk management, safety, health, environment are equally important than financial figures. Fact is, as mentioned in the research bibliography, that several important steps by the selection of an expatriate should be considered by the international conglomerates when selecting an expatriate for an international assignment. The methodology and research methods was based in two steps. Initially, a bibliography survey about published articles was elaborated. Second, a survey and later interviews with global human research managers of multinational companies were carried out. The survey was done during the years 22 and 23 and got the participation of 20 heads of global human resource managers from different kinds of businesses and regions. Additionally, as mentioned in the second step, interviews were performed with all these managers for clarifications or complementation of information. The outcome from the bibliography survey, what companies should have. Companies should have organizational structure in line with the defined strategy, mostly for the subsidiary, job descriptions, job profiles, selection process, targets, grading, development plans, training for new job holders, and employee survey. The outcome from the research. Over 80% of the participants of the survey belong to European-based headquarters. Most of the companies do have over 10,000 employees worldwide. Nearly 55% of the participant companies have a divisional and 35 a matrix organization structure, and over 90% of the managers sent to international assignments are males. The selection process is not clearly defined by most of the companies and even not transparent. Targets are not agreed with both superiors in case of a matrix organization. Most expatriates are not getting a proper training prior to the takeover. Job descriptions do not include all local by law responsibilities. Job profiles are not always available for expatriates. Importance of the role of the partner should be verified prior to the selection and included in the profile. Local managing directors are not always included in the selection process. The outcome and recommendations. Companies should have clear and transparent selection process, preferentially with assessment. Targets and performance appraisal should be done with both superiors in case of a matrix organization. Induction and training program prior to the takeover should be in place. Proper job description and job profile with input from all involved, even from the managing director of the host country. If necessary, evaluation of the partner should be done. To finalize and to reinforce, it's important to mention that company's vision, mission, and values will be a strong help to an expatriate manager to perform accordingly in an international assignment.